Howdy everyone. I'm outside because there are rats all over my place. So, yeah, I'm trying to kill time. I'm trying to touch some grass right here. So let's talk about Game Pass.
So, Game Pass. It's hard to deny that it's a pretty amazing deal. $10 to $15 per month, you get access to, well, a ton of games. I swear, scrolling through this catalog is like being a woman on Tinder. Options everywhere. Not all of them are amazing options, but you do have options. It's tough to choose where to start. Scorn just dropped. I played it for about an hour and a half, not my thing. I love the whole look of the game, walking around is great. The puzzles and combat kill it for me though. If anyone from Ebb Software is somehow watching this, put out a VR version of the game. The immersion that VR could add to this title would really up the quality, though overall I'm glad I didn't pay full price. So instead of finishing and then complaining about a game that I couldn't get into, why not talk about 6 Game Pass titles that are worth giving a shot, starting with Titanfall 2. In 2014, Respawn Entertainment put out Titanfall, a first-person shooter that seemed pretty decent but lacked any single-player mode. Then in 2016, Respawn came out with a sequel that actually included a great campaign. Like, they did not half-ass the single-player portion at all. The gameplay feels and plays so damn well. The shooting is great on its own, but moving around both on foot and on your Titan works amazingly. Sliding and wall running feels so good. It never truly overstays its welcome, clocking in at about 6 hours. Plus the relationship between the main character Jack and his Titan BT gets pretty wholesome at times. At its current discounted price, I recommend it. And for a Game Pass title, I really recommend it. Now on to the next game, Dishonored. You are Corvo, a royal guard. Corvo is accused of killing Dunwall's empress, and as a result, he becomes dishonored. You're given a sword, a gun, and an arsenal of powers that are given to you by a guy who looks like he shouldn't have been on the Iron Throne. What makes Dishonored stand out is the freedom in its gameplay loop. There's the low chaos route where you're completely stealthy, and high chaos in which you act like a maniac and murder everything in sight. Or you could do a mix of the two. Whichever side you lean more towards will ultimately affect the ending of the game, leaving the door open for a ton of replay value. As I got rewarded with more powers throughout my initial playthrough, the more fun it got, as it gave opportunities to get creative with the combat. Possessing enemies to have them murder each other and summoning rats to kill everyone else will never get old. On top of that, there is a sequel that's also on Game Pass, which in my opinion is better than the first one. It adds the option to play as the Empress's daughter, Emily, along with Corvo returning as a main character as well, leading to more ways to play. And then on top of that, there's a standalone expansion that is still in my backlog. And there's also Deathloop, which apparently takes place in the same universe. Maybe I'll talk about that game for a bit in the future. Up next, Nobody Saves the World is an indie RPG from the Guacamelee devs, Drinkbox Studios. You begin the game as a character that is literally named Nobody. Then after pissing this douchebag off and being sent to a dungeon, he receives a wand that gives him the ability to change form. At the start, you can only become a rat, but as the game goes on, you'll unlock more forms. A knight, a horse, a magician that has playing cards coming out of his crotch, and even an egg. The procedurally generated dungeons do get a bit repetitive, but if you are a Game Pass subscriber, it is worth at least giving a shot for a few hours. Up next is Taiko No Tatsujin, the Drum Master. That took me so many takes. This is the first entry on any Xbox platform. It reminds me a lot of Donkey Konga. I grew up with the second game, which included just the most random track list for a Nintendo game. It's got both the Shrek song and Come Clean by Hilary Duff. But back to the Drum Master. It's a very straightforward rhythm game. Just hit the right buttons at the right time. But with Japanese culture becoming more and more mainstream in the West over the past few years, the track list for this game is weeb as f***. In the Western release of the original Taiko Drum Master on the PlayStation 2, the only anime themes included were the Dragon Ball Z theme and the Jimmy Neutron theme by Bowling for Soup. You know what, why not? Jimmy Neutron has some weird anime shit in it. Remember when Carl got pregnant with an alien? But really, he just wanted to bone Jimmy's man. I love doing the Carl Weezer voice. I'm not familiar with half of these songs, and the ones that I do know are from memes and TikToks. Where's the Cory in the House opening? I know that's an overused joke, but Cory in the House is a motherfucker. anime. There's also some classical music and video game scores thrown in, as well as a very tiny handful of music from the West, including Last Christmas and I Want You Back from the Jackson 5. And this is a modern game, so of course there is DLC. And I'm not giving them a dime. If you're looking for a solid rhythm title, or you're waiting for Nintendo to bring Donkey Konga to the Switch for some odd reason, Taiko No Tatsujin is not a bad game to try out. Next on the list are the Forza Horizon games, 4 and 5 in particular, because those are the only ones on Game Pass as of me recording this. Yeah, coming from someone who isn't a car guy, the Forza Horizon games are pretty phenomenal. I always ignored the Forza series in particular because my entire life I was a Nintendo and PlayStation guy, though since I got my hands on an Xbox, I finally understood the critical acclaim behind these games. The main focus isn't about sophisticated professional racing. No, this isn't Ford v Ferrari, but at the same time it isn't Fast and Furious. 4 and 5 take place in Great Britain and Mexico respectively, and just playing them for a few minutes makes me want to become a millionaire, buy an Aston Martin, and drive around these places in real life one day. But also in this game, I can launch my car off-road like I'm doing a jackass stunt. The driving feels so nice and the environments are beautiful. And there is structure and progression. The point of the game is to garner more influence to earn a place of notoriety in the Forza Horizon Festival. And that's what this game generally feels like. One big festival celebrating cars, good-ass music, and just an opportunity to travel to a new country. It makes the game feel like an open-world RPG to an extent. Of course, these games are not perfect, as there are some live service elements. There are various attempts to get more money out of your pocket, along with daily challenges that are there to keep you coming back. And on top of that, the Forza games do tend to become delisted after a couple years, which I gotta admit is a major gripe to an all-digital subscription service like Game Pass. But overall, the Forza Horizon games are a must-play, especially if you are a Game Pass subscriber. Plus, I love this menu music. This is a real banger. Now, there is one more game I need to recommend. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This is a weird-ass title, I know. This is an indie game that really pays homage to 2D Zelda. It's centered around Turnip Boy. Shocking, I know. And according to the title, he's committed one of the most evil crimes you can think of, tax evasion. Even Saul Goodman agrees.
Now, what is the conclusion the tax man makes?
I'm a drug dealer.
Wrong. Million times worse. You're a tax cheat.
Turnip Boy belongs in prison. Nah, I'm kidding. Turnip Boy's a savage. The IRS can suck on a big taint. Problem is that he got caught by Mayor Onion, so now he has to work as his assistant. Turnip Boy is forced to travel through various dungeons and slay some snails, and other monsters too, of course. Gameplay wise, it's actually pretty basic and not very innovative. Plus, it can be completed in just under 5 hours. But with that said, this indie is so charming. It's full of satire, pop culture references, and witty dialogue. And the story does take a surprisingly somewhat dark turn at a point. Plus, it's got a cherry that goes... When I played this game on the Switch back in early 2021, I had a blast hiding my income from Uncle Sam. And I hope anyone who gives Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion a shot has a similar experience. Oh, and a sequel is gonna drop too, where he robs a bank. It doesn't sound as fun as Tax Evasion, but I'm still down to play it whenever it drops. So those are 6 Game Pass titles that I recommend trying out as of October 17th, 2022. I am saying the date I am recording this because some of these games rotate out of the library. I know the Forza Horizon games will. Damn it! This video is about to age horribly. This, I'm giving PlayStation Plus another shot.